Welcome back to the Blue White Tailgate Show. We got our sleeves rolled up as we go inside the film room with Coach Jay Paterno. And Coach, we're looking at some of the matchups that Penn State had against Rutgers last year. And one thing that they did is they were able to keep a single high safety against the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, I think it's important that the fans, as they look at this game, you want to take a look. How is Rutgers going to play Penn State? And when you look at this first screen grab from last year, you'll see how Rutgers played Penn State last year. One high safety, very aggressive with the receivers on the outside, bumping them up. You look at this year against Washington State, last week's game, you go to our next screen grab, you'll see a different approach as they played the Cougars in their pass coverage. You see right here, safeties wide, two safeties high, a big dead zone right here in the middle. As we go to the video, you'll see how Washington State was able to take advantage of that. This puts a lot of pressure on those linebackers to get deep and get underneath it. Washington State attacked that area of the field 9 times against that two-deep coverage, completed 6 of them for 120 yards. Penn State's got to get people out, they've got to get down the field, and they've got to take advantage if that's going to play. But we'll see how Rutgers plays them.
Now, I would assume when you have a soft middle like that, if you're Rutgers, you want to be able to bring an effective blitz package, and that's something that when they do bring it, it's been pretty effective in the games.
Absolutely. Last week was a little surprising. Washington State, only 82 plays, only 10 blitzes from Rutgers against them. Now, of those plays, 8 of them were very effective, so 80% hit rate on the blitz. Last year, which takes us to our next point, last year the key down distance for Penn State was 3rd and medium. When you look at the next screen cap that we have here, the 3rd down and 3 to 7 plays last year, Penn State had 7 all passes, only converted 2 of them, 29%. It's going to be important for Penn State to take advantage of the Rutgers blitz if they do bring it. We go to the video, you'll see how effective this was last year for Penn State against Rutgers. They bring 2 guys off the edge, creates a situation where Hackenberg's got to get out of the pocket, and then they force Penn State to punt the ball. Penn State's going to have to try and keep Rutgers' offense off the field by converting those downs.
Yeah, because when Rutgers does have the ball, they have 3 running backs that could tote the rock and do some serious damage. As we go to the next screen grab, we're going to take a look at how Rutgers is actually going to attack the Penn State defense, because the defense last year pretty much kept Penn State in the game and pretty much won them the game with that final drive.
Absolutely. Rutgers has a power run game. When you look at the number of times they're in 2 backs, last week against Washington State, of 64 snaps, 40 times they were in 2 backs or a 2 tight end set. How are they going to attack Penn State? Now here you see a zone blocking scheme. This really kind of plays into Penn State's advantage because they're very aggressive upfield with their down guys, and they put a lot of pressure. We go to the video, you see how that Penn State's penetration up front against the zone run scheme forces them to cut back, creates problems for them. Now, will they go to that zone scheme, or will they then come back and go to more of a power scheme that we're going to see in this next screen grab? On the next screen grab, you're going to see what this type of blocking does. Creates down blocks, gives angles, pulls guards, kicks out with the fullback or the second tight end, depending on who they have in the game personnel-wise. But very aggressive, very downhill. And we'll take a look at the video here. You'll see the difference against Washington State. You'll see the line surge is much different. You see these guys up front, they're coming off the ball with a lot of aggressiveness. They're moving the guys down the field. It enables that back to get outside and make some big plays. Now, the tricky thing about Rutgers is as you watch that blocking scheme, Andrew, and you see on this next screen grab, we're going to show you a play-action pass that Rutgers likes, and you'll see the blocking is exactly the same. You're going to see the same guard pull, the same fullback come around. So with young linebackers, you're going to see here for Penn State, they're going to have to recognize the difference between that blocking scheme when it's run and pass. And if we go to the video, you'll see how effective this is. You'll see the guard pull, you'll see the fullback pull, and then you'll see the quarterback get out on the edge.
You know, and that's the thing. Misdirection against a good defense. I know that was part of the game plan in 2005 against Ohio State with those fast linebackers of Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk. You guys constantly went misdirection. It seems like Kyle Flood, that's pretty much his game plan early on this season.
Absolutely, and that's going to be important. Now, the last thing we want to talk about here is obviously with Rutgers has a lot of playmakers. One of them, Carew, has been suspended for the game, so won't play against Penn State. If we go to the next screen cap, you'll see how that's going to impact the entire Rutgers attack when you see what happens. When you have a player like Carew, when you get in these bunch sets and these trip sets, he draws 2 DBs. So there would be a corner here and a safety there, and that enables this front side. You see they have numbers advantage here in the run game. And Rutgers likes to run that ball front side on these bunch sets. If he's not there, the question is the guy back there going to be good enough to change the coverage? And if not, they're going to have to make an adjustment in the run game. Now, they do have enough playmakers. A guy like Grant, for 2 years, averages 19.8 yards every time he touches the ball. We'll have to see how they get involved. But it's going to be a challenge on both sides of the ball for Penn State this Saturday night.
So if Penn State could win the third and medium battle in your mind, which is, in your mind, the key thing for them to do, what do you think that the final outcome will be if they could actually be successful, say, maybe 75% of the time?
Well, I think the key thing is, Bill Walsh talked about those third mediums. You want to make them 50% of the time. If they can convert those 50% of the time, that's another 3 or 4 plays you get, another 3 or 4 plays that your defense isn't on the ball, is on the field, another 3 or 4 plays where Rutgers isn't running the ball down the throat and controlling the tempo of the game. Because when you go on the road, if you can control that tempo, it makes all the difference in the world for the visiting team.
Jay, one thing that Penn State does have on its advantage is the home crowd. With what we've seen here today, how much could that affect it?
Well, watching them last Saturday, it didn't look like Rutgers doing a lot of things on the line of scrimmage, and I think that would be smart for them. I know Nebraska came here in 2002, and they had a young quarterback, and he was changing plays, couldn't hear him. I think if they get into their game, they get in their mindset, and they come out and they're aggressive, they can give some real problems at Penn State.
Sounds good, Jay. Good stuff. When we come back on Blue White Tailgate Show, time for me to talk with NJ.com Rutgers beat writer Dan Duggan.